The average commuter will see just a boring Toyota, but this matrix is hiding a secret at 8,000 revolutions per minute. Secret buried behind the cheap price tag and practical design lies an engine that's been tuned to slay giants. It's the first honor list of 7 surprisingly fun cars that are so cheap you wouldn't expect them to be this fast. Oh, and the last one might make you look like a millionaire. Years ago, before Lexus and Yamaha teamed up to make the LFA, Toyota joined forces with Yamaha to create something special, the 2ZZGE motor. It was a small engine, just 1.8 liters big, with 4 cylinders arranged in a line. This engine was part of Toyota's lightweight aluminum block series called ZZ. But what made this motor stand out was Yamaha's touch. They made it stronger by using tough materials inside, added a way for the valves to move at different times for better performance, and set the maximum engine speed really high at 8,200 revolutions per minute. This meant the engine could spin really fast before it needed to stop for fuel. This little powerhouse wasn't just for one car. Toyota shared it with a bunch of their models like the Celica GTS, Matrix XRS, Vibe GT, and even a high-performance Corolla. Though it started with about 190 horsepower, people found out they could easily make it even more powerful by adding a supercharger, boosting it to over 250 horsepower. What's amazing is that these cars, even with their incredible performance, don't cost a lot today. Maybe it's because they look ordinary on the outside, or because most of them came with a manual gearbox. Or maybe it's just surprising to think that a Corolla could have an engine that's also used in a fancy car like the Lotus. But these cars, with their reliable Toyota engineering and the mix of power and efficiency from the 2ZZ motor, have become legendary. Even though they're not super pricey, they hold a special place in the hearts of many car enthusiasts. The Fiat 500 is one of the cutest cars ever made, like the Beetle and the Nissan Figaro. It's not the kind of car you'd think is super fast, but that's what makes the 500 Abarth so surprising. It's like the mischievous twin of the regular Fiat 500, all dressed up with scorpion badges, special suspension for sports, and 2 coolers to make it faster. Inside, it even has a gauge that shows how much power it's using. People call it the Hell Mouse because it's tiny but packs a punch with 160 horsepower. It might not catch a super speedy car like a Hellcat, but it's got a 5-speed manual, a special exhaust, and it's pretty light at 2,500 pounds. That's enough to get you into some exciting trouble, and it's so cool. It's even in this racing game called Assetto Corsa. You can buy one for around $6,000, but some say it might not be the most reliable because, Italian cars sometimes have issues. So if you want something that won't need a lot of fixing, you might want to check out another car. The Nissan Leaf has been the subject of many jokes among car fans because it looks a bit goofy and doesn't have tons of power. But this all-electric car from Nissan, the Prius Crusher, is more than just a city car that's good for the environment. Its electric motors can give you instant power, like more than 200 pound-feet of twist when you press the pedal. Some folks say it can go from 0 to 60 in less than 7 seconds, just like the Toyota 86. Nissan even took the Leaf to racing events to show how well it performs. And they made a super cool version called the Nismo Leaf RC, a fast car made of carbon fiber for the racetrack. The best part? Since it's electric, you don't need to worry about changing oil. Fixing things like the computer or boosting the power might just need a software update. Not bad at all for a car that costs around $5,000. The MX-5 is known for being fantastic, right? Well, ever wondered why there's no MX-6? Surprise, there actually is one. Even though it's called the MX-6, it's not the Miata's next version. It's more like a cool coupe that's not so common. But people at local car gatherings tend to notice it. However, it didn't become as popular as the Miata, probably because it's front-wheel drive, based on the Ford Probe, and it was put together in Michigan. So it's not really a part of the whole JDM scene. Also, there's a caution about the coolant mixing. The MX-6 took over from the super dull 626, a car so boring it's remembered only for having moving air vents inside. But why call this a car for car lovers? Well, it's manual, not too heavy, and a blast to drive. Just like most coupes from the 90s. You could get it with a Turbo 4 or a V6 that pushed around 160 horsepower. People liked it for being fun and not costing a fortune. If you're thinking about a European hot hatch, the Volkswagen Golf is usually the go-to choose. But if you want something surprising, check out the Volvo C30 instead. Sold in the US between 2008 and 2013, it packed a punch with a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-5 making over 200 horsepower. Volvo aimed it at younger folks, but it didn't sell as much as they hoped. That's why spotting one these days is a rare thing. Again, it's front-wheel drive, unlike the ones that came later, which went for rear-wheel drive.
But hey, it's still a great choice for your daily commute. It's got a solid safety score, a comfy inside, and it won't break the bank, costing less than 10 grand. So don't ignore it just yet. The MX-6 and the Volvo C30 might not be as famous as some other cars, but they've got their charms. Both are kind of overlooked gems, maybe because they're front-wheel drive while many prefer rear-wheel drive in their rides. Yet, they offer fun driving experiences without costing a fortune, and that's worth noticing. The Mazda Miata, known for its greatness, is becoming really pricey. But luckily, there's an old competitor made by General Motors that's almost forgotten now. It was sold as either the Pontiac Solstice or Saturn Sky. These cars had the same rear-wheel drive setup as the Miata, and they came with a 2.4-liter Ecotec engine in the front. Some versions even had a 2-liter turbo 4 engine. They were a bit heavier than the NC Miata, but could produce up to 260 horsepower. Plus, they all had a standard 5-speed manual. What's surprising is they offered a coupe version, which Mazda never did, but only around 1,200 of these special models were sold, so they're super rare and super pricey. If you're okay with just the regular soft top, you might find one for about $7K. Infiniti isn't usually the brand that gets car enthusiasts excited these days. People usually think of them as makers of dull luxury cars, but that wasn't always the case. A while ago, Infiniti made some really cool cars, like the G35 based on the Z and the Q45 with a V8 engine. They still make a sporty coupe called the Q60, and you can find used ones for less than 20 grand. It's the modern version of Infiniti's G-Series, which was quite popular and still hangs around at late-night car meets. The Q60 continued that legacy when it came out in 2013 and got a makeover in 2016. It looks stunning outside and has an option for a twin-turbo V6 engine that gives it over 300 horsepower. While it's the most expensive on our list, ranging from $15,000 to $20,000 used, it's also the newest, fastest, and some might say the prettiest. Both of these cars have their charm and offer fun while still being affordable. The Mazda's getting pricier, but the GM-made Solstice Sky Duo can give you a similar thrill. On the other hand, Infiniti, often seen as a maker of dull cars, surprised everyone with the Q60's power and looks. Which one would you choose for your everyday drive? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.